Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. Sasquatch Summer is the film we're about to discuss. And just so you know how I do things, in the first minute or so, I give you the thumbs up or thumbs down. Should you see this movie? Should you go not? And then at some point, I'll say spoilers. Not now, but later, I'll say spoilers. At which time, you know, I'm going to spoil this movie by telling you what happens. So once I say that, but not yet, then you know to go see the movie if you want to. Come back after you see the movie and watch the duration, the remaining part of the review of Sasquatch Summer and Sasquatch Sunset. And pretty much I do that for all of my reviews, although I don't make that official proclamation, and maybe I should. So this is one Mike Messier. I've been getting a lot of new viewers lately because of my review. Why did you like Dune 2 more than me? But it's actually called Why I Didn't Like Dune 2 as Much as You. That's been getting a lot of controversy, apparently. A lot of subscribers, some agreed with me, some did not. Some people really like Dune 2 and Dune 1, and they point out some of the things that I missed, which is fine. I appreciate that. And so on and so forth. Now, with this one, should you go see Sasquatch Summer, should you go not? I think anyone could enjoy this film. I enjoyed it. I don't think there's no universe here. There's no sequels as far as I can tell, although they could do a sequel. I would go see it. It's a different type of movie, which I like. And what else? You know, what I've complained about with several films, you know, there was this movie with, who's the guy that played the young Darth Vader, the guy with the interesting look. He's not traditionally handsome, but yet he's a movie star. That guy who plays like Darth Vader, and he always plays Gucci, and always plays this one and that one. About a year ago, I believe, he was in some type of dinosaur movie where he's like in this other environment, this other world, this other, you know, universe, and he's basically hanging out with dinosaurs, I think. But at the beginning of the movie, he's basically wearing like an LL Bean catalog outfit, like khaki shorts and a shirt that looks like it's out of, you know, modern day America, the shopping mall. So my point with that review, whatever that fucking movie was called, which I didn't like, I said, how come in this other universe you have a guy who's wearing an LL Bean catalog shirt and he's speaking modern American English? So with this movie, we have these Sasquatches, and so this is not quite a spoiler, but we're getting close. Once again, see the movie. We have these four Sasquatches that don't speak English. They don't speak American English, United States English, jolly old European English, or any other English. They don't grunt and have like subtitles at the bottom of the page for us to read. We, as the audience, are challenged to understand these Sasquatches on their own terms, okay? Which I found interesting. Now, in full disclosure, when I came into this theater, and I was basically thinking I was going to go see this movie with no one else in the theater because it's a Saturday night. This is upper northern Florida, which mostly on the weekends, the theaters are populated with young people, teenagers seeing whatever horror film is out. If there's some big crazy action film, they're seeing that. These little intellectual movies on the fringe, I'm the only asshole in the theater. So I wait until the weekdays to go see the horror films because I want as much but freedom in the theater as possible. So I play against the fucking crowds, folks. I see the movies on the weekends that no one's going to see but me, and the big blockbuster fuck movies, the horror films and everything else, I see during the week when all these asshole kids are in school. At least they should be, unless they're doing something else. So in any event, I go see this movie fully expecting the theater to myself, but then there's one person sitting in a goddamn seat, looked to be like a 23-year-old female or some such thing. I don't know if she was waiting for someone else. Then I go up to my fucking seat at the top of the theater, and I'm fucking sitting there, and like right before the goddamn movie starts, and I'm glad I didn't take off my sandals. I had my sandals on properly, because I would be the type to take them off, you know what I mean? But these people come in, and it's like a pack of, look to be like older teenagers, like old enough to drive. They weren't loud, they weren't talkative. However, This pack of like 4 of them, we're sitting at the end of the row. I'm sitting on my end. There's like an awkward, 4 or 5 seats in between us. I was really proud of them that they didn't talk during the goddamn movie. But at some point, they all got up and fucking left. And then, I really had to facilitate during a good portion of this movie. In fact, I felt that, need as the movie began, but I kind of talked myself out of it. And in fact, I should have just gone because I actually felt the need, like, during the last end of the previews. And I'm like, oh, I just went before. So I was trying to negotiate myself out of it, but then I was terribly uncomfortable until I gave myself a break and went towards the end of the movie. And then I just said, God damn it, I should have taken this break earlier, if you see what I'm saying. So, and at that point, when I left the theater, the auditorium, I should say, this is how I distinguish. The auditorium is the actual room with your screen and those seats. And the theater is like the whole complex together, like the whole theater location is the theater, and there's different auditoriums within the theater. That's how I say things, because it gets very confusing, okay? Because if you say to assholes, oh, I'll meet you at the movies, I'll meet you in the theater, some fucks think that you mean like the actual auditorium, and some assholes think you mean the lobby, or even outside. I say, this is how I'm going to distinguish. You can jump on board if you want. Auditorium is the actual room, like the 4, the 5, whatever your room is, with your screen, your seats, and theater is the building. So let's get back to this goddamn review. Okay, now we'll do the goddamn, well, the lady, the young person, the 23, 24, whatever she was, had left, and she left like her little trail of fucking raisinets or popcorn or whatever the fuck she had. So basically, in this goddamn theater, in this auditorium, I should say. See, I had to play by my own rules, folks. In this auditorium, we started with 6, and we ended with 1. Just me, last man standing, folks. So I guess this movie, for whatever the fuck it's worth, is too intellectual, too challenging for these North Floridan young people to hang with. But I really don't think so. I think they should have just hung out for a little bit longer. They could have, gotten something out of this movie. I don't know why they left. I don't know. I don't know if they snuck into another theater or whatever the fuck they did. Or maybe it was all a front. You know what I mean? Maybe they went in the fucking restroom and gangbanged each other. Who the fuck knows? But in any event, I watched the goddamn film. I enjoyed it. Now we'll get into the goddamn spoilers, okay? 7 minutes into this fucking thing, or 7 minutes and 55 seconds, as it were. Let's talk about it. So we have this SASQUATCHES. It appears to be possibly late 80s, maybe early 90s, 1990s, or it could be modern 2024. The reason why I'm giving that time spot is because there is a boombox with an audio cassette, which, people still have those, but it's kind of retro, as you kids would say, retro fucking music or retro tech or whatever the fuck, to have a boombox with an audio cassette. If that was a new product, which we see, it would likely be late 80s, early to mid 90s, perhaps. If it's just like a retro piece. I mean, so it's kind of vague, you know what I mean? So we're hanging with this family of fucking SASQUATCHES. Like I said, go see the movie, come back, watch the duration if you don't want to get spoiled like an egg. And we meet this family. Now, here was my confusion. Was this pack, was it a family? At first I was thinking, okay, it's a mother Sasquatch, a father Sasquatch, a son Sasquatch, and a daughter Sasquatch. And then is the really huge one, once again, spoilers, is the huge one that dies first? Oh, wow, what a death, huh? Into trying to get a piece of pussy, dies trying to get a joke here. What a death. Was he the son? Was he like the overgrown son? Is the evolution of these SASQUATCHES so that the male son is huge, like bigger than the rest? Or was he the father, because he's like the biggest? Then I thought, there was only one female, right? There was only one female in this pack, because first the big guy dies, and then when they discover the road, and they're what they were doing, folks, you know this, you're intelligent, is they were marking their territory with the urine, with the shit, with the projectiles from the press. They were marking their territory of this road. So we're basically learning that these Sasquatches have human traits, they have animal traits, bear traits, when they're attacking the picnic thing and they're pissing all over the picnic stuff. So I was just a little confused. It took me a while to catch on, like the breakdown of, but then you gotta wonder, and because the big guy, the big one that dies first, he seemed to be wanting to fuck a lot. And I thought when he was trying to fuck the little one, wasn't the little one also another male? Was that what was going on? Because it got to be confusing, because it seemed like there was two in there that were freely fucking, and then it seemed like they didn't want the big guy to fuck the other ones, because was he trying to sodomize his brother? Were they trying to prevent Sasquatch incest? Like, do they know on their level that you cannot fuck each other in the family lineage if they're like related siblings? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this shit out. Because you wonder, if there's only 4 of them, how are they going to procreate? Because you need, you know what I mean? If it's just a family of 4, then you're going to have all this inbreeding. The way that I interpreted this movie, because it's like a beautiful poem. We can all interpret it differently. The way that I interpreted it was these Sasquatches have an instinct that they cannot incest each other, okay? So the urges of the male gargantuan one, the huge one, is to just fuck whatever, and the other ones are trying to prevent it. Then they have their big fight. He goes off, and he's so frustrated, he's sexually frustrated, and he thinks he's going to basically fuck this, was it a bobcat, was it a mountain lion, whatever the fuck it was, like an animal, a cat. And then, did they take an easy way out by not showing that violent death? By not showing him attempting, of course there's people who are trying to interrupt our good times here. Did they chicken out? Did they take the easy way out in not showing our Sasquatch buddy there trying to fuck the mountain lion and getting attacked and killed for his efforts? Because that would have been a hell of a good fight, let's be honest. Like the fucking mountain lion or the bobcat or whatever the fuck, defending itself, tearing at the entails of the Sasquatch. That would have been good visual stuff. But we're seeing this film really from the perspective of the other Sasquatches, and so we don't get to see that. It's also a good way, just for those of you that want to know, of saving money for the filmmakers. Because yes, there was a big budget behind this thing. Jesse Eisenberg, Riley Keough, and okay, so here's the thing, folks. I was really tempted when I saw the name Riley Keough at the end of the movie, and to a lesser extent Jesse Eisenberg. I was tempted to kind of Google fuck who Riley Keough is, because I do recall the name, seeing the name Riley Keough in another movie recently and thinking she was an attractive female actress. And so I kind of was driving myself apeshit thinking, well, who is this fucking Riley Keough? Because I remember another recent movie where it's like, oh, that's a really attractive actress. But now I have no clue. I can't remember who the fuck she is. Jesse Eisenberg, is he the guy who's parodied on that? God, these assholes. Is he the guy that's parodied as the Zooey Deschanel friend on that? If you haven't seen that, the Saturday Night Live parody of the quirky girl Zooey Deschanel, is that Jesse Eisenberg that's being lampooned? Because I think he's one of the producers as well as Riley Keough. Here comes a vehicle. So in other regards, all these Hollywood bigwigs, you know, getting together and making this independent film in California. Is that Jesse Eisenberg? Was he the guy in Juno 20 fucking years ago? Or am I middle fucking 2 different actors together? Well, whoever the fuck you guys are, Jesse Eisenberg, Riley Keough, who I know is attractive. I just can't remember what she looks like. Very good job. Well done. Let's go back to the movie. So when these Sasquatches, when we see the entails, you know what I mean? Then we're like, oh shit, you know, the big one's dead. And now you see the mourning, you see the grief, and they feel this guilt, this human guilt, because they were the ones that shunned him because he wanted to fuck them. So they shunned him for improper fucking. But then they're trying to get him back with the chanting and the fucking all that shit. And then they find him dead. And then they're freaked out by this fucking mountain lion that we'll see later on, or a different mountain lion perhaps. That was a little extreme. The goddamn placenta getting thrown. Holy shit. Have you seen that stuff on TV where they're like the fucking weirdo people are sending the goddamn, like this is real life stuff. The women are sending their placentas to like some company which makes like a fucking vitamin syrup or some shit. I mean, what the hell's wrong with people? Go to the goddamn hospital like a normal human being. Have your fucking stomach slit open or give birth to a baby, however you do it. And don't keep the placenta. Like, that's nasty shit, okay? Throw that in the goddamn garbage can. The weirdos that, like, in the trailers, you know what I mean? That, like, in South Carolina or wherever the fuck, no offense, that, like, sizzle up the placenta. Oh, I'm gonna eat that placenta. The weirdos. Fucking weird. Yes, it's full of goddamn nutrients. So's a goddamn vitamin, assholes. So's a fucking protein drink, you fucks. You don't need to go around eating human placentas for your goddamn minerals. It's not that good, assholes. So any fucking way, let's get back to this movie. So then, what the fuck happens next? They're mourning the death of their friend or whatever the fuck. They're moving on. And now, see, that's what I'm thinking with this movie. The whole point is that the Sasquatches know that their numbers are limited. And we don't see any other Sasquatches coming around. So they're left with very little options to breed, okay? So then I thought it was the father that drowned. And that was goddamn tragic. I mean, that ripped my fucking heart out. When you see the fucking Sasquatch and, like, he's fucking around on this giant log and somehow he gets his, like, leg stuck or whatever the fuck. And he's like, and it's like, oh, this is like tragedy. This is like Forrest Gump losing Jenny. This is just tragic shit, folks. This is Goose dying, okay? This is fucking deep shit. He's trying to fucking survive, and his friends are trying to help him, and they're splashing the water, trying to save this fucking guy from drowning. And the little one comes over, which I think that was the son, the little one. He's trying to work the stick, but it's like, oh no, dude, you're doing it the wrong way. And I'm thinking, if the two Sasquatches, like, both teamed up on opposite sides of the log, maybe they'd have a chance, but they weren't working well together. And he dies. And it's so goddamn fucking whatever the fuck, tragic, whatever. Then they fucking take a nap, they wake up and they see his fucking corpse and the goddamn birds are eating it. Holy God. What happens next? Then something else happens and something else happens. So earlier in the film, and this is, see, I don't want to say I'm going to go see this movie again, because I could say that, but I have to see all these goddamn movies to satisfy you people with Mike's Instant Movie Reviews. I have some new subscribers. People are subscribing now, which I'm thankful. Hashtag emoji with the hands, whatever the fuck. So, which I hate that goddamn emoji. I hate the fucking, the hands emoji. Go fuck your hands, okay? So then we go back and we talk about the fucking guy. He's counting eggs. He's counting the 4 eggs. Holy shit. And then the other one, like, gently takes the eggs away out of respect to nature. And I thought what was going to happen was that the fucking, you know, the Sasquatch, I was supposed to say the baboon, but the Sasquatch, I thought he was going to start counting his fucking fingers, right? Like, because he was having trouble getting beyond 3. That's how I interpreted this. He's, like, teaching himself how to count to 4. And earlier, he's counting the stars in the sky. Like, you see the mechanics of this brain learning to count, teaching himself how to count. What else? So we're seeing evolution in its progress. I do like the fact, ready, that we never see human beings in this movie unless they showed up for the 2 minutes I was out of the office in the facilitation. We don't see any human beings, but we see the stench of humanity. We see the picnics and the red X's and all this horse shit. Tragically, we see the bear traps, and what we are led to believe is another Sasquatch foot stuck in the bear trap. Like I said, spoilers, assholes. So, what else? And I don't say assholes to demean you. It's just a nice thing that I say. What else? It's just a good movie. I mean, it's you know, the end where they fucking get to the goddamn giant Sasquatch statue outside of the whatever the fuck the God Bigfoot Hall of Fame or whatever, the museum. And they're trying to like communicate with the fucking statue, and the statue's not communicating because they don't realize it's not real. They think it's like their god, that it's living. All these wonderful things. The baby Sasquatch was kind of hilarious. I mean, how the hell are you going to do that? You know what I mean? Like, what in the film industry, folks, it's called practical. Like things that are actually in front of the camera are practical, as opposed to a digital effect, which is like camera put in there afterwards. You know what I mean? Like a fucking special effect through digital editing. So I'm thinking that was a practical effect. Like that was some type of puppet that they had for the baby. And you had to kind of go with it. I mean, what the fuck is a Sasquatch baby going to look like? I mean, what's our point of reference here? So they put the little beard on it and shit. And I'm assuming that the father of that Sasquatch baby was the Sasquatch that got drowned. So once again, the big one, the huge one, I'm going to go with my theory that was like the Bam Bam, you know, from the Flintstones' son. I like the beginning of the movie where they're all kind of reflecting, like you could see the thinking in the eyes. Okay, when they're eating mushrooms and horse shit, in case you guys didn't catch on, or any of you did, some of you probably know this, when they're eating the mushrooms, and also I thought licking the turtle, I think that's a good way to like drive yourself nuts too, isn't it? Like, doesn't turtle skin have like some type of acid or something? Couldn't that kill you or whatever the fuck? Like, I could be wrong, but that's why I thought she was a female, the youngest one, because she was kissing snakes. I think that was the same one, like kissing turtles and kissing snakes and licking this fucking turtle shell. But I could be wrong. But isn't that a good way to fucking like drive yourself nuts, by fucking licking a turtle shell or whatever the fuck? I could be wrong. I thought I heard that somewhere, that you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't lick a turtle shell. Not that you would have the opportunity, but that there's, you know, that's like a peyote trip, acid trip. The big guy, when he has the fucking mushrooms, before he tries to fuck the mountain lion or the leopard or whatever the fuck, he eats a goddamn mushroom, and we're like, oh no. So I like the goddamn movie, folks. I'm probably going to give it 4.5 stars. Why don't you give it 5, you're wondering? I don't know. I mean, just because I think the capacity of this movie is really like a 4-star capacity out of 5, yet it's getting 4.5 for execution. I just don't know, because like a 5-star movie is like, oh my god, you have to see this. This is mind-blowing. This is Citizen Kane. This is whatever the fuck. This is, you know, something. Highlander would be my favorite film. Goodfellas would be a 5-star. I'm really reserving the 5-star rating for something that actually deserves it. This one is pretty goddamn close. I mean, I think I only gave the Iron Claw 4.25 or some such thing. So, I mean, 4 stars for me is like big. You know, you earn these stars, filmmakers. But this is way up there because it's very unique. We're learning. Also, you can say, is this fiction, or are these filmmakers, do they know something we don't? Because a lot of fucking people do believe in Bigfoot. A lot of fucking people do believe in Sasquatch. You know, you have all these goddamn television shows. I don't particularly watch them. You know, like, for me, there's so many things in my lifetime. I mean, to be quite frank, I think that the whole Trump becoming president is kind of evidence of a parallel universe. You know, no matter where you stand, you know, 8-10 years ago, we weren't thinking that this guy who did the Celebrity Apprentice and You're Fired and all this horse shit, WrestleMania 23, shaving Vince McMahon's head, we weren't thinking, oh yeah, this guy's going to be president. It's such a random occurrence. It seems like a parallel universe. We're living in an algorithm. You know, so all these things that are off-putting and weird, I got one toe in that world. You know what I mean? The conspiracy theories, the celebrity, whatever the fucks, the celebrity death fakers, you know what I mean? There was a good one a while ago that I think they got rid of on YouTube, which was Jim Morrison was repackaged as Rush Limbaugh. I don't think you can find that video anymore, but I saw it when it was up. and all that, the celebrity death figure. So all this conspiracy crap, I don't buy into it all, but I don't dismiss it all either. I'm open-minded, okay? So the Sasquatch thing, I know that famous video that we've seen a million times of, that fucker, that was faked. I believe that was admitted to being a forgery, a guy in a suit and so forth. But there's other things that people talk about. Sasquatch, what's the one, like the white one, like the albino one, and the Eskimo one? There's like another name for it. Well, maybe, is that Sasquatch or is it a different one? It's because of an A or an E or some horse shit. Oh, boy. Riley Cano, was she in the Star Wars movies? Is that like the young, the chick that looks like fucking Natalie Portman? Because there's Natalie Portman, but I thought that actress's name was Daisy or some such thing, who looks just like Natalie Portman. Or is that Riley Cano? Who the fuck is Riley Cano? You know what I mean? And this Jesse Eisenberg individual, I'm pretty sure that's the guy I'm thinking of. Like I said, watch that fucking, the quirky girl Saturday Night Live skit. It's the funniest thing. Ha ha ha. So there you go, folks. So I really enjoy this movie. I mean, these young people that left the theater, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I mean, hopefully they did something better with their evening. But I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, you missed out, you fucking assholes. So that's fine. I mean, I can't save the goddamn world. So that's it, folks. Mike Messier, like I said, from some new subscribers, some positive energy. God, I hate terms like that too. But some positive comments came in, some negative comments. Some people were very upset. Over on my other channel, One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan, I got a whole other debate going on. I claim that UFC 300, the BMF title change, was tainted because of the blatant eye pokes. And that video is picking up quite some controversy. Many see my point, others do not. But there's many debates. There's some individual coming towards me. I'm going to have to start this car right now, I think. Okay, there. All right, the individual has entered their own vehicle. I think we'll be okay. They are in their vehicle. The door is shut. I have not seen the ignition, but I think we're okay. So anyway, really an interesting film. The only thing I can compare this to is Clan of the Cave Bear. Okay, there was another movie from that era, the early 80s, I believe, Quest for Fire, which I don't think I've ever seen. I think that was Chong's daughter, Ray Dong Chong. She was like kind of a quirky sex symbol of that era, Ray Dong Chong. She was also in Soul Man, but I think she was in Quest for Fire. And then Daryl Hannah was in this Clan of the Cave Bear. Now, if you ever see Clan of the Cave Bear, they use this symbol to indicate the procreation. Like the demand that the male would have to the other cave person would be like this, right? And in this movie, these Sasquatches go like, what do? They do like, it's like this command. So it's like a request. And, God. So, I don't know if the people that made this movie, Jesse Eisenberg, Riley Cano, and other people, there was some guy named David who wrote and directed this thing. Of course, all I can remember is the famous actor. Sorry, David, whoever you are. But in this movie, I don't know if they probably had seen Clan of the Cave Bear and were inspired. Anyway, folks, one Mike Messier for your Mike's Instant Movie Reviews and Life Rants. If you want to check out my pro wrestling, MMA, and other sports, One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan. If you want to see my art, One Artist, Mike Messier, acrylics, abstracts, mind-blowing stuff. Picasso-esque, people are saying. And if you want to see my films, One Man and a Camera Films, my books, A Distance from Avalon, Fight or Play Basketball, Bad Girls with Good Tattoos are all on Amazon. Buy them. Go to MikeMessier.com. Thanks.